Okay.
Do you guys need me to show you how to determine the IC₅₀ or just ANOVA and t-test?
I think you show all.
Okay. So basically I'll start with IC₅₀ first. So for IC₅₀, you will first need to have your data table. It will be XY table. And then can you guys see my mouse?
Yep, can see.
Okay. So for Y, it will be to enter replicate values, but this is so for context, the data that I'm demonstrating with is the cell viability after being tested with different concentrations, and I have triplicates. So for my data, it will be to enter 3 replicate values in side-by-side sub-columns. So if your data is different, then you can choose them accordingly. Then you press create. Okay, so this is your x-axis title. So for mine, it will be concentrations. And then for group A, so this is where you will put your corresponding variable data, which is cell viability for my case. So you can see there's group A, group B, group C, group, and all the other group D, E, F, G. There's a lot of other columns for you to fill in. So if you have to fill in more than one set of data, then you can put them side by side also. And then just fill in accordingly. I'm just gonna use my data here. Okay. So you can see that I've also included here title as my concentration value. So I'll tell you why later on. But basically, after you have entered everything, you press analyze. And first off, you have to press transform concentrations X and then OK. And transform to logarithms and then OK. And then you will analyze again. And then you press normalize and then OK. And then this one, normally just press OK. If you want to change it, you can change accordingly. And then analyze again. And this time you press non-linear regression curve fit. Okay. So for my case, I'm trying to see the inhibition. So it will be dose response inhibition. So if you are trying to determine the stimulatory effect, it will be this one. So for inhibition, and then it will be log inhibitor versus normalized response, variable slope, and then okay. So you can see that this is what's generated. IC₅₀ being generated from GraphPad is 14.07. And then up until here, is everything clear?
Yep,
It should
here for
be
me.
fine, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Yes,
Then, okay, and then you can see from your graph, so it will generate a graph also. And okay, so let's say I'm going to generate a bar graph. Okay, so you can see that this is very messy because the bar is basically arranged by numerical value because my concentration is they're not spaced out, they're not having a equal interval. So they will be arranged like this. So it will be very packed in the beginning and very far away from at the back. So if you want your bars to be arranged equally spaced out, you will have to press group. And you can see it's spaced out evenly. And you can actually just change the data here and there. Not sure why there's two missing parts, but this is basically why you will have to enter the values here. Basically, when you enter the values here, because I missed this out. Wait. Basically, anyway, just ignore that. But basically, if you put this in, then they will treat your bars as group. So they will be spaced out evenly. Instead of if you change your graph type to XY, then it will be by numerical order, then it will be very squeezed in the beginning and very far apart. But basically, that's for IC₅₀. Okay. So IC₅₀. And then I'll move on to ANOVA now. So for ANOVA and t-test, it will be the same. First step, you will have to create a column table. So column table also, you will choose your option accordingly. For mine, it will be the first one, enter replicate values, stack into columns, and then create. And you can see it's arranged in this way. And so for this case, here, this would be your concentrations, and here it will be your data over here. So let me, basically it will be like this. So I have to paste transpose. And then for your values. Okay. So it'll be arranged like this instead of like the XY if you want when you want to move on to doing ANOVA or t-test. Okay, so same step, you analyze. So you can see it's column analysis and there's t-test and one-way ANOVA. So just for your information, t-test is actually for pairwise comparison. So let's say I have all of these groups selected for the test and I press OK, you actually say that I'm trying to analyze 3 or more groups. So if I want to compare all the groups, I should use one-way ANOVA. And if I want to do pairwise, then I can use t-test. So if your data is just, let's say, just control, and then treated like this, and then you have your data, let's say like this over here. So there's only 2 groups that you want to compare. Then you can go ahead and analyze by t-test like this. Okay, and then you can go on and analyze it by t-test. Or if you want to just compare, maybe let's say you want to compare maybe just the control and this concentration, or maybe any two groups that you want to run a comparison, then you can do t-test. But if not, then you have to run one-way ANOVA and you will run all of the tests for you to compare between groups. Okay, so if it's t-test, it's actually the same. Basically, you just have to select 2 groups, or if you have only 2 groups, then you just run t-test. But if you have more than 2 groups and you want to run t-test between 2 selected groups that you are choosing, you just choose the 2 groups that you want to compare and then press OK. And you can basically choose. So here it will be unpaired test, because each of these data of mine is not paired. And then basically it's the same, and then you just press OK. And you can also see here, show this many significant digits. Basically it asks you what is your minimum p-value that you want to show the significance. You can just adjust accordingly. If you want, then just press OK. So it will show a result here. So just now I chose to compare these 2 groups, and it shows that the significance is 3 asterisk, which is p less than 0.00. No, actually it's 0.0002. So it will be 3 asterisk. And then, yeah, basically this is t-test. And then go back to ANOVA. So if it's ANOVA, it will be all of the groups, then press OK. And basically all of this would normally, you will put it as default. You don't really have to change it unless there is, according to your own data, you might have to do some changes. And then for multiple comparisons here, so for my case, I have a control. and I want to compare each of the data with that control. So it will be this one. Compare the mean of each column with the mean of a control column. And then you can choose which is your control column. Mine is the first one. And then you can see it under options. Your multiple comparison will be done with this test. So done it is always the recommended one. There's actually other ones. You can go and explore, but normally I'll just done it. And then here also you can select for the significant digits as many as you want. And then basically that's all. You just press OK. Okay, and then to see each of the significance value, it will be under multiple comparison. So you can see 0, which is the control column, versus each of the concentrations. And this is the significance value. Okay, and then to illustrate it, under graph, you would need to choose mean, median, error. If not, if it's individual values, it will be shown individually lah. So you'll be mean, median, error. Okay. And under here, under draw, you can see this one, it shows click to add or format pairwise comparison. So automatically add pairwise comparison. So because just now I've run the t-test and also the 1 week ANOVA, so it will ask me which data I want to show. So let's say if you show t-test, then you will show between these two, the significance is 3 asterisks. So let's say I want to show the 1 way ANOVA. Okay, so it will be all of these comparisons that is being analyzed just now, and then okay. So you can see it's very it's basically in brackets to show each of the significance, and it's very long, it's very hard to see. So if you don't want it to be shown like this, you can either, so let's just remove this. So you can either press on, you can see here, it says manually add lines with text. So you can actually just draw a line and then you can select which is the value that is shown just now. Then you can change the font size accordingly. Or under here, click to draw a line with text. This one is also allowing you to add the asterisk at the significance. But the thing about adding this is you cannot remove the line. So the line will always be there. So if you don't want the line, you can add by text box. So click to write text on graph, and then you just add your asterisk sign and just adjust. Yeah. So basically, that's all about ANOVA and t-test. Any questions?
No question from me.
So yeah, that's basically how. Okay. I'll stop sharing.
Okay.
Thank you, Yanmei.
Okay. Okay.
Thank
You guys can ask me actually if there's any questions, but actually you can also just go online at